Hey guys, Joe Miles here with Osseo Gear. This is the Mission Whitetail podcast. We're going to be doing a deep dive into what it truly takes to kill these mature bucks. We're going to step outside the box and look at the why for gear, tactics, training, and more importantly, the mindset from over 35 years of chasing these magnificent animals all over North America. Thank you for following along and welcome to Mission Whitetail.
Mission Whitetail, episode 93. Can't believe we are closing in on 100 episodes. Kind of wild. Got Wells and Andrew in the studio today. Howdy, boys. Glad to have them in here. We're filming this on a Friday, and we are cooking some New Swanger Wagyu ribeyes for lunch today. Chef Beads is back preparing things right now. What are you laughing at, Andrew? Anyway, we're going another solo podcast today. It's going to be a gear dump. We haven't done that in a while. Start off with the season update. I just got back from Tanzania, went on a Cape Buffalo safari over there, and it was about as epic a hunt as you can have. 10 days of hunting. Western Tanzania in the Rukwa Game Reserve. Guys, if you look that up, you can look up, I think it's the Rungwa River. We were just north of the Rungwa River, and we were bordering the Katava National Park. It's a game reserve called the Rukwa Game Reserve, and lots of buffalo. If you want to see pictures of the bulls, I did do a social media post on the Joe Miles Hunting Instagram page and kind of broke down that hunt. So got back from that, and now it is 100% whitetail focused for the rest of the year. Actually heading to Texas, got invited back to that really good ranch that we got invited to last year. Got invited back down there a little earlier this year, going to be early October, or I guess I should say mid-October when I go down there. They have sent me some pictures, and there are some amazing bucks back in there. Very fortunate to have the opportunity to go down there and hunt, and hopefully it'll come together here in about 10 or 12 days. Here in South Carolina, I am now 100% sure that swamp buck is still alive. I got pictures of him up close, personal, and his body is massive this year. Horn-wise, he's probably gone down a little bit. I know I won't say he's gone down a little bit. He's got the same exact cage, same exact time length. He's just a 9-point this year. And I know for a fact that he is 6.5. No question about that. He is 6.5. He is in there. So this was a 2:30 a.m. pick. I'm going to go down and make just a few adjustments to the rut funnel where I think I can kill him this weekend, and then I'm just going to kind of stay out of that thing. I'm going to hunt it different this year. I'm going to completely stay off of that property, completely off of it, and I'm going to fixate and focus on this one rut funnel. I've got a big mock scrape in there, and I've got 2 trail cameras in there. 2 stands set for a north and a south wind, great access, and he was through there multiple times last year. After the season, he was even through there in daylight. So I'm just going to hold tight until perfect, good, cold weather when the rut has started, and I'm just going to get in there, and that's where I'm going to hunt him. So that's my plan with that. Kansas, a big deer has shown up in Kansas out of velvet. On the property where I shot the 9-point, real close, quartering to, I think 2 years ago, the 160-inch 9-point that we got on video, and same property, a really big deer has shown up in there. He's definitely 180s plus. Obviously, we won't know that he will be there when I get out there the end of October, 1st of November, but he is a hammer, so going to get after him as well. So excited about deer season. Hope everybody has gotten in the woods and is going wide open. I think most states are open now, and it's time, boys. Okay, gear. If I miss anything, Wells, Andrew, or if something doesn't make sense, y'all just interrupt me and say that made no sense, because I'm kind of going off of a list here. And I'm just going to start at the absolute bottom at boots and go all the way to the final bow setup and everything in between. So boots, I am a boot guy. Love boots, always have been, and I guess I have 4 different boot types that I use during whitetail season. Probably the one I use the most is the Loa Renegade Evos. It's a hiking boot. I use that quite a bit. I also use the Solomon Speed Cross. They're like a hiking shoe. I use that for really hot weather hunting, and if I've got to do any sneaking or be ultra quiet getting into a spot, those little Speed Cross shoes, and I wear those almost every day too. I love those little Solomons. Any type wet hunting, if I've got to cross some creeks, which in that rut funnel I was just talking about, one side of it I do have to cross a creek, I love the Osseo Whitetail Pro Boot, so I'll be running those. And then cold weather, super cold weather, I think we've even done a podcast, or definitely we've done a YouTube video on those Kenetrek mountain pack boots. I wore those in Texas one time when it was really cold, and you should have seen the looks I got having mountaineering pack boots in Texas. But really well-constructed boot. Love Kenetrek boots. Well-constructed. They are rubber. They're rubber on the bottom, leather on the top. Very comfortable and a very warm boot. They have a Thinsulate liner that you can put in. It's almost like a bootie that goes inside the boot. They've got a good shank. And the sole of them, if I had one gripe, the grids on the sole are a little tight, so it holds a lot of mud. So when you're up in a lock-on, 10 o'clock in the morning, you're turning around, that the mud will fall out. So I'm not a big fan of that, but everything else about that boot I really like. Socks, big Kenetrek guy. Actually, on this hunt to Tanzania, I used some Smart Wool socks, and like those, I got ones. I thought it was just cushion. It was more cushion, but it ended up being a really thick sock, so it was a little bit overkill because it was hot in Tanzania. But the Kenetrek socks, from their lightweight sock all the way to their mountaineering sock. And then I've talked, I'm sure guys are tired of hearing it, but their liner sock, their polypropylene liner sock, as far as keeping moisture off your feet. Great socks. Moving on, this is going to be a little bit of an Osseo plug, I guess, but that's okay. It is actually what I wear. So going to go through clothing real quick and kind of break down everything that I'm planning on using this season. I'm going to start with bottoms and pants, base layers. I like our Osseo midweight base layer bottom, and then I will also, when it gets really, really cold, we'll go into our new merino heavyweight base layer. And they have, the thing that's so good about those heavyweight base layers, they've got full zips. So I can actually pack those things in, get up in the stand, and put those on without having to take my boots off, and vice versa. If I'm coming out and I know I've got a long walk, I can unzip those things and put them in my pack, and I'm not going to sweat them up real bad. So those late season base layers are money. I love those. Pants. So for my bottoms, if you will, or pants, I love our lightweight pant, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are actually sold out of those right now, but got a new shipment that'll be here shortly. Or maybe by the time this thing airs, they won't be sold out, but they'll be in stock when this thing airs. But, man, I love those. We call them lightweight, and they are lightweight. We built them for hot weather hunting, but, man, you throw a base layer underneath them, and you can wear those down in some cooler temperatures. And then I normally go from those lightweight pants right into our Sherpa pants. And the Sherpa pants are windproof, and they've got full zips this year, so you can zip them all the way on, all the way off, kind of like those base layers I was talking about. The bomb pant is a great pant for guys that, are having to go through thicker stuff. A lot of guys have used those elk hunting, and out west this year, and then into the mobile hunting scene. So those bomb pants are great too. Bibs, I do wear our Sherpa bibs, but normally I go from the Sherpa pants right into our late season bibs. I do obviously have a pair of Sherpa bibs, and I will wear those. If I was only hunting in the South, I would probably not have our late season bibs. I would just have the Sherpa bibs and Sherpa pants. But going to Kansas, Alberta, Ohio, and doing some late season stuff, late season bibs, I love them. Belt, I use the Osseo non-metallic belt because it doesn't have any metal on it. It's a Velcro belt, and once I get it set, it stays there. I do believe we are completely sold out of those, and I don't even know if we are going to be bringing those back. We sold out of them, but they weren't a massive seller for us. We could rework it. There's Dom Rasmo, or he's a SEAL Team 6 guy. I think he's got Dynamic Innovations or Concepts. He's got a non-metallic belt, and I've got one of those, and they're really good too. I wear that one a lot of times just as a daily belt. But for my hunting belt, I love that little Cordura Osseo belt. Tops, again, I'm into the mid-weight base layer top and our heavyweight base layer top. I love that merino wool. That late season base layer top's got a hood. It's a full zip. Got a chest pocket. It's just ultra, ultra warm. Top-wise, I do the early season hoodie. That is something that I keep in my arsenal at all times. I wear that thing early season hunts, like this hunt I'm about to do in Texas. I'll have 2 of those with me. I do the mid-season hoodie when it starts to cool down. Then I will always have that core vest. I'm a huge vest guy. I like to keep my core warm. That helps my feet and hands stay warm. So our core vest, our puffy jacket, it's dead silent. And man, I've told this story a couple times, but 2 years ago, hunting in Kansas, 25-mile-an-hour winds, had a long walk across a big cornfield, got in, cooled down, climbed up in the tree, all-day sit, 20 to 25-mile-an-hour winds, super windy. Had my Sherpa jacket laying in the V of the tree I was in. Had on mid-weight base layer, core warmth vest. I had our mid-weight hoodie, core warmth vest, puffy jacket on top of that. And I thought I'm just going to sit here until I get cold, and then I'm going to reach back and put my Sherpa jacket on. And I never put it on. Never got to the Sherpa jacket. I stayed completely warm. It was like high that day of upper 30s with 20 to 25-mile-an-hour winds all day long, and I never got cold. So that puffy is money. We don't claim it to be windproof, but it is highly wind resistant, and that 80 grams of Primaloft in it keeps you snug. And then obviously I've got the Sherpa jacket and the late season jacket. And that new late season jacket with the removable hood, we actually did a fitting yesterday and went through all of our gear, and that late season jacket is badass. I mean, it is 180 grams of Primaloft, quiet. That insulation, and with that windproof membrane, waterproof membrane, now the removable hood, the way the cuffs are designed, the way it slinks down. Is that a word, Andrew? Slinks? Tapers. I like that one even better. Thank you, Wells. The way the sleeves taper down so you don't get any string interference, and then it's got our patent pending bow hunting collar. That's a good piece. I think we're about to get out of clothes. I've got a Sherpa neck gaiter. With the bow hunting collar, the way it gets down out of your anchor point and no string interference, it does leave a little bit of a gap there. But what's so funny about that is, it's not like you're going to get cold in your neck because you have layers on underneath that. You're just not wearing that jacket by itself. You have layers underneath. And I like a neck gaiter too. It's tight around my neck. I can pull it up, keep my ears, keep my face warm. But then when I've got to shoot, I can pull that neck gaiter down and make sure I've got a really good anchor point. So love a neck gaiter. Glove-wise, I run our early season gloves, and then when it gets cooler, I'll switch over to our mid-season windproof gloves. And then when it gets really, really cold, I layer those. I'll wear our early season gloves underneath our mid-season gloves. And that's a great system because I'm using our pockets too, and our pockets on our cold weather stuff are windproof. So my hands stay really warm that way. If I am taking a boat or I'm taking an e-bike for a long drive, I will throw on those late season. They're almost like a pack glove. So if you're doing stuff like that, man, those things have got insulation in them, 100% windproof, 100% waterproof. If you're like having to carry a decoy in and set that thing up when it's bitter, frosty cold, those late season gloves are money. I wear an all camo nylon hat when I hunt, and then I wear the windproof beanie on top of that. And that's my head system. And then with our hoods, our midweight hoodies, I've always got a hoodie on, put that up. And then also that late season base layer hood is great. It's all merino wool. So between that system, my head is always going to stay nice and toasty. Pack-wise, I love our compact bow hunting pack, and I've been running that for years. We are bringing that pack back. I think right now Osseo is sold out of those. Is that fair to say? But that pack will be coming back. We're going to add a few more bells and whistles to that bad boy, and it will be coming back next year. Ebike. Steve Pinkston with Hardcore E-Cycles got us one of the new Mavericks, and man, that thing is pretty amazing. No pedals, no chains. It's a step over, low profile. You can go to his Instagram page, Facebook page, or Hardcore E-Cycle website. Have already turned a couple buddies onto that. The Fit Bow Hunter, Justin Tabor, and Ryan Bowers both have gotten those bikes and love them. I mean, that's a great little bike, and that's the one that I've got right now. And as far as running in our swamp on these long logging roads and stuff in the mud, it is a perfect little bike for that, and you can get ultra sneaky on that thing. Stands and sticks. So obviously, Lone Wolf Custom Gear is my go-to for tree stands and sticks. For the rut funnel, or I'll call it permanent stands, they're not permanent because I do take them down every season, or I try to. Some of them I've left up. Excuse me. I use the Patriot series. They're a little more price friendly. They're a little bigger. They're a little more comfortable because it's a larger platform. So in the rut funnels or season permanent stands, the Patriot series, the Patriot sticks, and then I do have two mobile setups. I've got the 0.5 and a 1.0, and for those two mobile setups, I use 4 of the compact double sticks. They're 17-inch sticks, and they've got the butterflying step. And what that means is you can put those two, you can look them up on Lone Wolf Custom Gear, but for guys that just want to hear it, they have a step system. They're 17-inch sticks, so there's a step at the bottom and a step at the top. There's not one in the middle, but you can put them both sides of the butterfly on one side, or you can open it up and it actually makes a double step. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that right? And I love those because inevitably for me, it doesn't matter how much math I do when I get to the top, I always have the one step on the wrong side. So and I have to adjust every dadgum one of them to get back down. And with these butterflying ones, that top step, I just open both of them up and I have a step on both sides. So it really does solve any issue like that. Very light, very compact, very well built, very safe. On the bottom two on my mobiles, I do run those 17-inch 8ers, so I can get really high. And guys are like, why do you take 4 sticks? You know, why do you need 4 with 8ers? When I am mobile and I'm going into an area, I don't know what I'm getting into, right? I may have to get that high to get to cover. I don't have to use all 4. I can use 1 or 3 or 2, and I can leave the other ones at the bottom of the tree. So I like to be able to get as high as I need to get, and with those 2 8ers and 4 sticks, I can get way up there over 25 feet with that setup. So I like to cover all that. I still use the buckles. I am all about the buckles. I like the safety of that. I guess I am a little older. Wells, you probably use the tie straps or whatever they are, the Amstel. But I've always used the buckle system, and I'll continue using that. Let's see. Safety harness, I use that Dryad Killdeer. It's like a mountain climbing harness. I love that because it's low profile. It does have leg straps that you use, but it goes around your waist and underneath your legs so that if you do fall, you'll be upright instead of falling upside down. But it's very minimalist, and I like that. It stays out of the way. I do put – we got a phone call. I do put Sweet Thing. Oh, dadgum. Yeah, I was hoping it was Sweet Thing. We could put her on speaker. Let's see. Lifelines. All my quote-unquote permanent stands, lifelines, guys, highly recommend those. If I've fallen twice, both times luckily have been very low and just kind of jammed my ankle, but nothing major. Just about everybody I know that hunts a lot has fallen once or twice. Some guys have gotten badly hurt. And so it's that time of year. We're going to start going. We're going to get burnt out. We're going to get tired. Do not get complacent in the safety aspect of stuff. We got to stay on top of that. So I put lifelines on all my permanent type stands. And then on my mobile stuff, I've got my lineman's belt on from top to bottom. I'm never not connected to that tree. It's just, it literally, boys, it's just a matter of time. Something's going to fail. You're going to slip. Something's going to come unattached. And you think, being young and strong, you can grab hold of something. But, man, it happens so fast. So, please, safety harnesses, lifelines. Handsaws, if you can get hold of that new tethered handsaw, man, that thing is awesome. If you can't get hold of those, I don't know, are they sold out now again? All right, so maybe they are back in stock. So if you go to the Tethered website, that saw is bad to the bone good. If not, if you can't get one of those, excuse me, the red handle Lowe's, just that Lowe's red handle, I don't know what the name of them is, but it's got the red handle. That's got a really good saw blade on it. And, man, they are not all created equal. There are some saws in the industry that have blades on them that are terrible. That with that tethered saw or that red-handled Lowe's saw, you can make – yeah, what's that called? Corona Max Razor Tooth. That thing is badass. It literally, for every one stroke of that saw on a limb, some of these ones that are quote-unquote in the hunting industry, you have to make 3 or 4. And if you're having to cut quite a bit, it makes a big difference. So the tethered has got a really good blade, and that red handle Lowe's saw has got a really good blade. Bow hangers and screw-in tree hangers, there is, I think it's Crawford Industries. It's EZYclimb.com. Those bow hangers and screw-in steps, or screw-in steps, they make those too, will go in any tree. I think you could screw them into concrete. Never seen anything like it. They will tap into anything. I'm a big guy. I like the triple bow hanger, the triple section, because I want the bow out in front of me as far as depending on the tree, I want to be able to make sure I've got enough bow hanger to get it out in front of me so my movement to get to my bow is absolutely minimal and I don't have to be reaching way back because especially we're getting into October, November, getting into rut type situations, and man, things can happen really fast. So I want to be super efficient with where I position my bow and that triple stack. You don't have to use all 3 of them. You can use 2 of them. That triple stack, easy climb bow hanger lets you get that bow in a position that you just can't do when you only have 2 of the limbs. All right, we are closing in on this thing. Knives for skinning. Montana Knife Company makes a Whitetail series. Hadn't used those until last year. My buddy Bert Soren actually gave me one, and man, I can't believe how, first of all, sharp that thing is right out the box, but then it holds its edge really well, and it's very easy to sharpen. So kudos to the Montana Knife guys. That's a really good blade. And then if I've got to cut through rib cage, I don't have a meat saw. There's, you guys are going to laugh at this, but there's a Cutco serrated drop point knife, and I have literally cut through the rib cage of multiple whitetails in a season, and that thing not miss a beat. I used that. Somebody turned me onto that knife when I used to guide elk hunting back in Oregon, and I could go through 3 or 4 elk in a year fully worked up with that Cutco serrated knife and never have to sharpen it. Not a super expensive knife, but a really good one. So between Montana Knife and that Cutco, if you're a minimalist guy, those Havalons are good. But I mean, it's not like we're sheep hunting boys. We can, get a Montana knife or this knife in our pack and get it into where we're going. So those are the 2 I recommend. Bows. We're going to get into bows. In the last probably 10 hunting seasons, this has been I don't know how to phrase this exactly right. I won't say I've been slack, but I have been so busy and traveling that I have not been able to put as much time into my bow setup as I had wanted to. So I am going to shoot this season the same bow I shot last season. It's the RVX or RevX 32 from Prime. And I got the forms, and I love them. I messed around with the arrow configurations too much, and I don't have time to dial the arrow system in and really get comfortable to it like I want. I went ultra light, ultra fast, and I went a little bit too far with that to kind of find the ceiling there. And so I've not had time with those bows to dial it back to where it needs to be. So to simplify things, I know that the bow setup that I've been running for the last several years works great. So I'm diving right back into that setup, and I'm going to shoot that for this season. And then next year I'm going to make my adjustment because I do want to get down under 70 pounds of bow weight just because it's easier to draw. You can draw it smoother. And with the right arrow configuration, I feel like I can get the exact same penetration that I'm getting now shooting 74 pounds. But real quick, 32-inch RVX, it's RVX. 74 pounds of bow weight, 29-inch draw is pushing my arrow at 300 feet per second. Headlock quiver, that's a G5 quiver, and it's like $39. It is a very inexpensive quiver, but for a whitetail tree stand hunter, man, I've said that multiple times, it's an awesome little quiver. Has an adapter with a cam lock that you can just screw into the tree, and so it goes right off your bow, right into the tree. You can put it wherever you want it on the tree, so if you need a second shot, really easy to get right into that quiver. Launcher, arrow rest or launcher, I use the Epsilon Hamsky. That is the tank of rest. I love it. I've had trouble with other popular rest freezing. Never had that with the Hamsky. It's got micro adjustments. I really like that rest. Stabilizers, I use a 6-inch front bar by Bee Stinger, and then I've got a rear 6-inch bar as well. And I've got quick detach on those bee stingers, so I can get the back bar off if I got to pack it up for travel. Makes it nice. Sights, I am making a change on sights this year. I'd been a black gold dual tracks. I like that sight, but man, starting to fall in love with that new HHA Nitrix Pro sight. Isn't that right? Correct, Wells? HHA Nitrix Pro. I guess what I like about it better is I like the dial design better than the black gold, and the brightness of the pins. I mean, the pins on that HHA are pretty amazing how bright they are in low light. I went with the .019, the 2-pin slider, and I just the reason I like the black gold is because it was built like a tank. You know, it felt really strong, sturdy. When I would make adjustments, everything would lock back in, and HHA's got all of that. But then I feel like the wheel system is easier to engage, and it feels like the tolerances there are a lot better. Obviously, I haven't run the thing for 5 years. I like the black gold, but initial thoughts on it, the tolerances feel better, and then I'm 100% sure the pins are brighter with the one I have. So excited about using that Nitrix Pro this season. Arrows, right back into the RIP TKOs from Victory. Again, 470 grains, all in weight. I used the 60 grain shock stainless steel, I guess you call them inserts or half outs. Gives me a little bit heavier front end. Not that I'm so into the FOC or the front end, but it gives you a little more with that stainless steel versus just straight carbon or aluminum up front. If you do hit a big bone, you know, you're probably not going to get the shearing that you may get with an aluminum or the bending that you would get with aluminum. So I like to have either stainless or maybe titanium up front. 4 Fletch Q2 vanes. Shane has built those. So has Kalen Pope with Arrows Anonymous. Kalen built all these arrows, and like those, that the fletchings, the heat vanes, also the boning heat vanes, like those a lot too. Broadheads, 100 grain mega meats for whitetail. Gonna be hard to beat those. And then I do keep a T2 in the quiver. That T2 is my new fixed blade. We run into some hogs in the swamp. Also, if I've got a little bit further shots in the wind, the T2 is going to be more accurate and it's going to penetrate a little bit better. So if I'm potentially getting a steep quartering 2 shot or something, I'm in a thicket where the trail system's set up where I may get a quartering 2 shot, I'll drop that T2 arrow in instead of the mega meat. But for 95% of the time, it's going to be mega meat. Releases, I use the handheld thumb button releases, and those are the Carter First Choice 3 fingers. And let's see, am I down to the end here? I think so. Binoculars, right now I'm using the Leica rangefinder 10x42 Genevieves. I believe that's how you say it. But falling in love with these new Vortex, man. I didn't realize, you know, I always, in my mind, it was Swarovski and Leica and even some Zeiss products as being head and shoulders optic-wise above all the rest. And I guess I really got started with those in the mountain hunting world, and just was like everything else is tier 2, and went to the Whitetail Road Show in Iowa this year, and Vortex was there, and got to play around with a lot of their new optics. And we were there all day. We got there early, and we were there until well after dark, so I got to look through them right at dark across some big fields. And, man, those Vortex optics are something special, and they do make a good range-finding binocular. Wells, I think they're on back order right now. But I'm getting a pair of those as soon as they come back in. I'm going to buy a pair of those, and that's what I'm going to run this year. They're lighter than the Leicas that I have, and, man, I don't think you miss a beat as far as quality is concerned. So Vortex, I feel like, is the way to go optic-wise. Miss anything? I got an ancient Foreman 500 four-wheeler that's like a 1995 that Chop runs like he's a scalded dog and never changes the oil in it. It's been flooded twice, and that thing keeps right on going. It is bulletproof, knock on wood. That's our deer recovery machine. Miss anything? I run a D-loop. Oh, I do run like a really loud D-loop, like either orange, neon orange, or neon green, and the reason for that is in low light. When you're setting up, you can actually see that loop, and I had it happen before where I had a black D-loop on there, and I was trying to get my release on when a buck was coming through, and I could not see it, and I never could get it on, and he walked right out of my life forever. So that's a good tip. What am I missing? Is that everything? Knocks. I've quit using lighted knocks. I've had so much bad luck with lighted knocks that I have just gone back to a standard knock. And I've had a lot of guys send me these Amazon knocks, these ones that are for sale. There's some kind of a knockoff on Amazon, so I might give those a try. But right now I'm shooting just regular old knocks. What else? Wraps. I got cameras. Oh, yeah, trail cameras. Spartan trail cameras and Wise-Eye. I've incorporated some Wise-Eye cameras. We had them up in Alberta. Man, the picture quality is great. And my buddy David Williams just got a bunch of them. Going to be running them at his farm this year. So Wise-Eye and Spartans, those are the trail cameras that I'm running. What else? What else do you use deer hunting? Truck to get there, Ford truck. I think I've covered it all. Any questions, guys? Any concerns? Let us know what y'all use. Have I left anything out? Anything that's really handy that may help us? I mean, we're all in this together. It's the 1st of October. Season's here. So, guys, if you've had luck with any type of equipment that maybe I didn't mention here that you really like, that's been proven, let us know, and we'll spread it around. And because we're all trying to elevate our game and get better at what we love. Appreciate it, boys. Good luck this week, and we will be back next time. Thank you.